bulk of your points as these two teams do, Debbie. Both teams offensive, struggling lately. Their teams have lost 5 straight games each. Pitt, as a matter of fact, has lost 16 straight road games in ACC play. That dates back to 2 years. Xavier Johnson joined in the backcourt by his fellow freshman, Trey McGowens. And they have the ball first in their road blue uniforms. And Johnson, right off the bat, gets the first 2 of the night.
Yeah, Xavier Johnson on cue, turns the corner, and he gets his shoulders past his defender. You're going to have a tough time keeping him from scoring.
Sharon Wright joining Jalen Horde as a couple of freshmen for Danny Manning in the starting 5.
Pitt switching in their man-to-man defense.
Wake Forest wearing special uniforms tonight, Debbie, with pink accents for World Cancer Day. Childress out to Brown for 3, off the mark, and Jared Wilson-Frame has the rebound for the Panthers. Your officials tonight, Ted Valentine, Bill Covington, and Doug Sermons. More downhill play, attacking.
Childress to get in foul trouble, and you see he took the first shot for Wake Forest. I think head coach Danny Manning trying to get him going after going scoreless in the last game.
So 1 minute gone by in this contest, and it's Xavier Johnson 5, Wake Forest nothing. Here's Sharon Wright Jr. A lot of ACC fans will remember his father, out NCAA championship with Kansas. He was the #1 pick in the NBA draft following that season. That shot off the mark, and Ellison has the rebound. Here's Wilson-Frame, and that is...
Have to find Jared Wilson-Frame. He's the best 3-point shooter for Pitt. He had a wide open, great look in transition.
Wake still without their first field goal of the game, 0 for 3 to start out. Here's Jalen Horde. You talked about him at the top of the telecast. He goes off the window with his left hand.
Yeah, and I think him in the pinch or the elbow area, really challenging to defend. He can go left or right. It's tough to stop him when he gets that deep.
The Pitt Panthers looking to break some ignominious history with their first road ACC win since 2017 tonight. They're off to a good start, leading 8-2.
And off the top, I think because the first 5 guys play so many minutes, you have to find a way to give them a chance to get a little bit of a break. And I'm not saying you're resting in zone, but it certainly is a lot easier than chasing guys around the perimeter.
A deep 3 with the shot clock running out, misses by McGowens, but a fresh 30 for Jeff Capel's Panthers. Couple of head coaching stops along the way, first at VCU and then Oklahoma, and he is building this program, as he likes to say, brick by brick.
You have to have a solid foundation before you can build upward with your house, and he's doing that at Pittsburgh. He's done it before at those 2 other places, VCU and Oklahoma.
Here's Horde. Mid-range jumper, no good. It's out of bounds. It'll be ended up 5 more wins in their second season.
He played for and coached under the greatest basketball coach, Mike Krzyzewski. He understands how to build it, and he's going to get it done at Pitt. They will be a winner. Sitting on the bench with him. Those 2 guys are as tight as brothers can be. Jason, of course, a great player at the University of North Carolina.
So it's Xavier Johnson, 1 in blue with the ball. He has 5 of the 8 Pitt points to start this game.
If anything, the zone makes Pittsburgh think a little bit, right? Instead of being so reactionary, because they did not miss in the man-to-man defense up from the floor. Now they've struggled against the zone a couple of possessions.
Childress comes up with the loose ball and another left-handed lay-in for
committed to scoring. He understands what his role is. 2 of the youngest teams in the ACC, certainly, and of course, that means they're 2 of the younger teams in the country.
Haven't seen Brandon Childress in the scoring column just yet, but a couple of dimes already for the junior out of Winston-Salem. Wilson-Frame misses, the tip no good, and it's Demon Deacon's basketball chance to make it a 1-possession ball game in the early going. Here's Shawnee Brown. Too strong, and Xavier Johnson with the weak side board. The extra pass.
Talk about freshmen growing up to become sophomores. We're seeing a great crop of freshmen on the floor tonight between these 2 teams. But a couple other freshmen that I really like, Rich, that I think have really matured as the season has gone. I think Michael DeVoe running the point at Georgia Tech for Josh Pastner has been terrific. And of course, Nasir Little has gotten better every week.
When you talk about ACC freshmen, double-double department, Zion Williamson 1, Jalen Horde, who's playing for Wake Forest, is number 2. And guess what? Xavier Johnson for Pitt is number 4 on that list. Some pretty heady company for those guys.
I didn't mean to dismiss Zion and RJ and Trey, but everybody knows about those guys. Plus Cam, we all talk about them all the time.
Yeah,
there's a lot of other
names.
really good players here in this league.
There's Brandon Childress, and he traveled.
Game and man-to-man, they switched. They're 0 for 5 from the floor since then.
And an offensive foul called on City Endier, who's an 18 in ACC play a year ago. He's already doubled that win total with 2. But as we mentioned, they've lost their last 5 games, and you could call it what you want, hitting the wall. February rolls around, and it's the dog days of conference play, but he needs his team to maintain some level of confidence. And he said it's been one of the challenging things that he's faced in his rookie season as a head coach for Pitt.
Well, you're trying to tell guys what it takes to compete at this level. You're putting them in competitive situations every day in practice. You come into the games, and it's hard to grow up in this league. Every night it's challenging. There's no possession off.
Pitt's offense has gone cold. They need this one, and they got it from Jared Wilson-Frame. That's the first time down the floor in 9 tries that they've gotten a bucket, Deb.
You just can't lose number 4 in blue. He's too good outside the arc.
Pitt was just 5 for 22 from three-point range in their loss to Syracuse this past weekend. They already have 2 triples tonight, courtesy of Jared Wilson-Frame. They go inside, does Wake Forest, and Horde can't pay it off.
When Horde did all the work before the ball got there, he did a great job posting up and sealing inside.
Wilson-Frame passed on the 3, instead the tough mid-range from the baseline.
But that's what you have to do. Find him and locate him in transition and come with a long closeout and make him put it on the floor.
Childress calls his own number and knocks it down.
Get in this building, it's Brandon.
Childress came into this game just 10 for 49 from the field in his last 4 games. And he was 0 for 11 against Clemson in their loss this past weekend. Chukwuku had it blocked by Smart. But Pitt gets it back. Shot clock's down to 5. Inside, beautiful look from Xavier.
Back from the wing up to the top. You look diagonal on the other side of the floor. Look for ball reversal. Great find inside.
Of course, anytime you have Wake basketball, you talk about Brandon Childress and his dad, Randolph Childress. Well, Malik Ellison.
He started.
It's
quite a remarkable streak. I thought Jason never missed a game or never missed practice, but he told me that that wasn't correct, that he did miss some practice. He had some concussions and he had some back issues.
Here's Ikena Smart with 1 foot in the paint, can't get it to go over Chukwuku. Pitt with an early 13-8 lead, 11:37 to go in the first half. Jeff and Jason Capel, the first combo brother coaching duo in the ACC since Seth and Brad Greenberg. Back in 2003 to 2007 was Seth as the head coach of Virginia Tech.
I like this small lineup for Pitt, but I like it when they reverse the basketball and look to penetrate into gaps.
Here's Isaiah Mucius off the bench. While Mark Jackson teams up with Rebecca Lobo for Spurs and Warriors. It's always a fun time. We were wondering aloud to each other, why don't we have an NBA analyst for this game?
Yeah.
A lot of graduated from Wake Forest, certainly to go on to NBA fame. Tim Duncan, CP3, Jeff T, just to name a few.
Ish Smith, one of my favorite college players at Wake Forest. Just can't get to the...
Because Wake Forest is the best offensive rebounding team in the league in conference play, and yet these missed shots don't seem to be turning into second chance opportunities for them.
You know, one of the things that makes them such a good offensive rebounding team is they take shots that people are supposed to be taking. Like this right here is a shot that Sharon Wright practices every day. Now it's a 15-footer from the elbow. He didn't make it.
Wakes 0 for their last 5 from the field. Number 5, Audis Tony, another Pitt freshman, misses his jump shot attempt. Horde, nice catch in traffic. And Jalen Horde has 6 points. All 3 of his field goals have come from that low left block.
And rewarded for running the floor hard. Great find in transition over the top of Pitt's defense.
Well, there is no question about the elite athleticism of Jalen Horde for sure. Another triple for Jared Wilson Frame. That's already 3 tonight. That makes 3 or more 3-point field goals for Wilson Frame in 5 of his last 6 contests.
I mean, he can really shoot it when he gets his feet under his shoulders, and he's quick to pull the trigger in transition.
Horde one-on-one, some big-to-big passing, and Olivier Sarr at the line. What do he and Jalen Horde, his teammate, have in common? Both fluent in French. They both spent much of their formative years.
He's a really strong pick-and-roll guy for Danny Manning, but I really think he's going to develop next year into more of a pick-and-pop guy, kind of like what John Collins was able to do under Danny Manning.
And Olivier Sarr is only 19 years old. He turns 20 later this month.
I like the extended pressure, too. Just trying to take some time, make Pitt think, make them hesitate.
Now 5 on the shot clock. Jump stop. Wild shot by Johnson off the mark.
He's going to say that was a pass.
Childress skips it over to Horde. Inside to Sarr.
Zoned by Pitt.
The 3-pointer off the mark.
Really good spacing. They move the ball. 4 of the 5 guys got a touch.
Well, the Demon Deacons not having any success from beyond the arc. 0 for 5 so far in the early going. Just a 29% 3-point shooting team coming in. That's the worst in program history at this point.
Xavier Johnson gets the switch on the high ball screen. Good defense by Sarr.
Here's Sean D. Brown. And it's blocked by Wilson Frame. Little volleyball for the loose ball and a
points. And in his senior year on the way to the NCAA championship in '88, he averaged 25 points and 9 rebounds. Impressive.
A couple of things that are amazing about that. First of all, how cool would it be if we had a coach's pickup game? I think Danny Manning and Randolph Childress might be favored across the nation in that department, but Jeff and Jason Capel, not a bad duo either.
Look, you and me, you get first pick. Which one of those guys you going to take?
I'm taking Danny Manning
Okay, I'll take Jeff.
Every day and twice on Sunday for that one.
We and Jeff are going to run you. We're going to screen and roll you guys.
Sarr fouled by Brown, and they were the #1 team, and Jeff Capel led the Blue Devils with 18 points his senior year that day and beat Tim Duncan and the Demon Deacons.
You always remember the games that you lighted up on
the Demon Deacons, and it's interesting to note because you go back 20+ years for that game, and that's kind of what Jeff Capel's doing now with his Pitt team. He rolls out a small lineup, and he said he kind of likes it.
Well, I like it. I mean, in studying them, when you watch with Terrell Brown is having a great game, then he adds a dimension for what they like to do. But if he's not, Jeff can go to the smaller lineup. I think he really likes it. They play fast. They move the ball well, and they're very good pressuring the basketball on the defensive end.
You're seeing that small lineup right now. Chukwuku, the biggest player on the floor for Pitt. Terrell Brown out with 2 fouls. With 2 on the shot clock, they had to force it up. Good D by the Deeks. Michael Wynn, his first shot off the mark, but an offensive rebound, and that's the Wake Forest though. Never let your loyalties get in the way of a good story. Well, the Wake offense struggling again. Statistically, they're the worst offense in the ACC. They haven't scored on back-to-back possessions all game, Deb. What do they need to do differently?
I think they need to attack, reverse the basketball, try to get to the free throw line. We know Horde can get to the line. I haven't seen Brandon Childress try to get in the gaps yet.
Chukwuku got the offensive board, but couldn't put the stick back.
He's really good at keeping his dribble alive and looking to attack, but I don't see him doing that in this matchup tonight with Pitt.
Pitt's up by 7, trying to snap a 16-game road losing streak in ACC play. There's Childress for 3, and that is a welcome sign for Danny Manning.
He steps into it, his feet under his shoulders, a terrific catch and shoot. And he didn't have to create for himself. Somebody created for him.
Well, 21 of the team's 46 threes in ACC play have been scored by number 0 in white, Brandon Childress. Nice look inside, and they thread the needle to Chukwuku for his first 2 of the night.
And I'm really impressed with Xavier Johnson not trying to force it. He had early scoring opportunities for Pitt, but now he's looking to get his teammates involved. On the defensive end, but also everybody talks about Virginia's defense. I'm impressed with their offense this year. I think they moved the ball 5 degrees here today. It was absolutely gorgeous outside.
Picture postcard in Winston-Salem. The fabulous freshman.
Good time to give him a seat. Wait for the 4-minute media timeout. Get a little extra rest.
It's a 4-point Pitt lead, under 5 minutes to go. They've led from the opening tip.
Mostly zone here the second half as well, except for the first 3 possessions of the game defensively for Wake Forest.
Here's Cam Davis for 3, off the mark. And these out-of-bound plays, Debs, I know you think could be very valuable for both teams, how they execute.
I do, Rich, and it's because when you struggle to score, you get an opportunity to really execute. These are opportunities where the coaches spend a lot of time getting your team ready to be able to execute these, and you got to knock down open shots.
There's a nice 2-foot jump stop in the paint, but the look at close range doesn't go for Isaiah Musius. And down Hipson was last Tuesday at Clemson. He went for a career-high 30 against a really good defensive Tigers team. Off to a good start here tonight again.
Pitt looking to pick up a little full court man.
And there's a steal by the Panthers. They're 3rd in the conference in forced turnovers. They got one there.
Yeah, Wake Forest is a -2 in the turnover margin.
Hallmark of a young team, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice look inside. Tony can't pay it off. He gets the offensive rebound.
As well, it's been 10 years since she's passed, and we are going to celebrate the Play for K games coming up pretty soon across the ESPN platforms. That's coming up in a couple of weeks here in February, and for NC State, they just had on the women's in Reynolds Coliseum on K-Yao Court. That game is sold out against Notre Dame. That should be an exciting time to celebrate.
Fantastic. It's a 22-18 Pittsburgh lead. Both teams coming in riding 5-game losing streaks, so someone's going to get off the schneid tonight. Jalen Horde doubled in the post. Here's Brown for 3. Second 3 of the night for the Deeks.
Really good job probing the paint and then spotting up on the perimeter. That's a couple of threes now for Wake Forest.
And this is the closest they've been since it was 11-8 earlier in the first half. A 1-point game. Pittsburgh up by 1. Here's Xavier Johnson, had 5 early points. That one is blocked at the rim, and somehow that shot goes in. It looked like it might have been off the fingertips of Kenna Chukwuku. By Kenna Smart. No good. Offensive rebound, Wake. And it's picked off by Wilson Frame. Here's a freshman on D. Sponey puts it in spin cycle.
Beautiful. Good job rebounding and getting up the floor, because Jared Wilson Frame looked like he was falling out of bounds. It almost looked like everybody stopped.
Audis Tony with the highlight reel move to put Pitt back up by 5. Childress. And was he? And then the free throw line, 87% from the stripe, but he misses his first. He's Cox in honor of World Cancer Day here inside Joel Coliseum. 2 for 3 from the line for Childress. That gives him 7. Jalen Horde has 8. Shawnee Brown has 5. And Wake is within a field goal. Minute and a half to go in the first half.
Remember, this was an 8-0 start to the first half by Pitt, and then Danny Manning switched to the zone. They've been in the zone most of the second half. It's been very good defense for them.
Wilson Frame can't nail his 4th 3 of the night. The ball goes out of bounds. Interesting to see if this small Pitt lineup gets affected on the defensive end, because Danny Manning can go big if he wants to.
I think they do a good job of playing great ball pressure. They switch on their man-to-man defense 1 through 5 with this small lineup.
Under a minute to go now. Childress for 3. Electrifying player in the early 90s for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, but his son Brandon is leading all scorers with 10 tonight. And we've got our first tie game since it was scoreless. City Endier, kind of a rushed shot. Offensive rebound, Tony, no. And it'll be last shot time for the Deacons. Spot up 3. No good, but we've got a foul. Okay, 4.2 left.
About 4 dribbles.
Xavier Johnson could do it with the best of them, and he got it!
In about 2 weeks, the play starts to pick up, because now you're getting ready for postseason and conference tournament play.
And what's amazing, this shows how dialed in Debbie Antonelli is. I asked her that question first, and then I asked Jeff Capel the same thing, and he said the same exact thing that you did.
These the creatures of habit, right? I mean, when you've been doing what Jeff Capel and Danny Manning have been doing at such a high level, as Childress continues with a hot hand out of the locker room, you have a great feel. Now, these guys are both really strong basketball X and O guys, but they also have tremendous feel about their team and their players' coaches. They understand. They've played at a high level.
Brandon Childress now leads all scorers with 13. He's got 3 threes tonight. Here's Xavier Johnson. Same looking shot as the one he beat the buzzer with, but he's short on this one. Here's Jalen Horde. He had a good first half, 8.6 boards. Wake's first lead of the game comes on their first shot of the second half. With 10 on the shot clock. Here's Horde in the paint. Tough shot, but
to see who's going to finish off this game.
This program back brick by brick. Xavier Johnson is one of the key building blocks for this team. You will hear his name a long time in the ACC ranks.
And Trey McCowens is the second leading scorer for this team, and he has struggled tonight.
Wake with the 3-point lead, 18-27 to go. Rich Hollenberg, Debbie Antonelli. Here's Olivier Sarr, looking like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but with a left hand.
I love the footwork by the 7-footer. Terrific move inside.
Well, he's Danny Manning's most experienced big man in the post, and he showed off some pretty post moves there, extending the Wake lead to 5. Nice look inside, freshman to freshman. Tony misses from close range again. Sarr the rebound. Nice look up ahead to Childress, but he can't get it to go.
Jared
comes
Wilson
Xavier
Frame
Johnson.
got a piece of that one.
Here's McGowan's.
Tuesday at Clemson. But he was playing at home. I thought he was struggling a little bit. He looked like he was trying so hard. He's all wound up. You know what I mean? Like frustrated.
Yeah, he's 3 for 20 from three-point range in his last 5 games. That was only the 3rd free throw attempt for the Pitt Panthers. So Pitt likes to attack, get to the free throw line. Wake Forest beating them at their own game.
Good extra. Wide open.
Xavier Johnson off on the 3. Both these teams looking to snap 5-game losing streaks. Pitt trying to snap a 16-game road losing streak in ACC play. And Audice Toney has missed 3 easy layup looks, but luckily his teammate Jared Wilson Frame was right there to pick it up. Wilson Frame in double digits with 11.
Backcourt, Trey McGowan's I think is going to turn it around here, and of course North Carolina's.
Because I see this team getting better as the season goes on. But if you saw that graphic again, most likely the year after that and the year after that. RJ and Zion, can't say the same thing about them. Jalen Horde.
Extend their pressure a little bit. I thought this was a terrific part of their game plan in the first half. Extend, make Pitt go into their second and third options offensively. You can't let Xavier Johnson get going like that. Downhill, good find in transition.
Jared Wilson Frame's been the hottest from 3 for the Pitt Panthers, and he has 14 on the strength of 4 triples tonight. Tied once again at 34. Here's Brown doing work underneath. And he's
going to be keeping an eye on whichever has the best number there, I think has a chance to win. And then of course dunks. Virginia doesn't give up many plays at the rim. If the dunks happen, that could be a momentum shift on the road for Duke. And then of course, scoring under 10 on the shot clock. I think Virginia's defense makes you work deep into your second, third, and fourth offensive options. If Virginia can win 3 of those 4 categories, I think they can win the game.
Well, Duke was a miserable 1 for 15 from 3 against Boston College tonight. They were trailing at the break, but now all of a sudden they've woken back up and have themselves a 10-point lead over Boston College. Maybe you have to worry, especially with young players like Duke has, a little bit of a look ahead to that Virginia game, but they seem to have set the record straight, so to speak.
I'm sure they got refocused at halftime.
Back to the Pitt Panthers with a chance to tie or take the lead with 5 minutes gone by in the second half.
You know what, Rich, the one thing I've noticed about both head coaches and their body language tonight, when you've lost 5 in a row, you got to find a way to win, right? They have been so positive with their players. I think their game management has been outstanding. Their changes have been good. Their timeouts and the flow of the game have been perfect as well.
Contested 3, off the mark, Sarr the rebound.
You just got to find a way. You've got to be able to make 1 or 2 plays together. You can't make back-to-back mistakes.
Wake scored 37 in their latest loss to Clemson. They've already eclipsed that with 38 tonight. Good defense by the Panthers. Endier for 3. That's a big shot for the Pitt Panthers and City Endier.
And see, now I see Xavier Johnson really starting to assert himself in terms of the way he's probing and penetrating. A couple times he's getting to the nail against Wake Forest defense, and he's making a play from that. It's like getting to the logo in the middle of the lane.
Pitt back on top, 39.
In a big way. I mean, that was unprecedented what they experienced as a team and what NC State Nation experienced in that game. Virginia Tech didn't play that well either. They won. And they won without Justin Robinson, which is key.
Right. Virginia Tech lost last night at home to maybe the most surprising team in the ACC, the Louisville Cardinals.
Chris Mack has done a fantastic job. He's got personnel, he's got high-level skill, and they're committed on the defensive end.
That's a giveaway by Wilson Frame. And Brown pays it off at the other end. And he's been their biggest outside threat tonight, as he has been most of the season. Brown completes the three-point play, putting him in double digits. 3 Deacons in double digits tonight, joining Childress and Hoare. And Wake's back up by 2.
I feel like it's Xavier Johnson time. He's made some plays for others. It's time for him to look for his own number.
That's 7 in the first half, scoreless so far in the second half. There's a look inside, nice passing, and the extra pass pays off. Beautiful. Malik Ellison with the bucket.
Beautiful. I mean, Xavier Johnson has total command of this offense for Jeff Capel.
Tied again at 41. It's the 3rd tie of the night. Childress.
See the whole floor.
And of course, some credit to the big man, number 15 in blue, Kenneth Chukwuka.
I mean, this is why we talked about how good the freshmen were in the ACC. We've been talking about it all game, but in particular this game with Xavier Johnson. He's an exciting, explosive guy. Jalen Horde is another guy to keep your eye on for Wake Forest. I mean, the future of both these teams is very good.
Wake is 13 for 17 from the free throw line tonight. The Pitt Panthers have only attempted 3 free throws. Here's Ellison. Out to Davis. Big offensive rebound and stick back by Malik Ellison. Back-to-back buckets for Ellison. He has 8. And we're tied again at 43. This might be the best we've seen Malik Ellison play all season.
Yeah, he's active. He's active on both ends.
Childress. Another triple. 18 for Brandon Childress.
That was good defense, Rich.
Johnson can't finish at the other end.
Yeah, I think he can get to the rim anytime he wants. Especially before Wake gets organized in their zone.
Well, the Wake Forest offense has come out blazing in the second half. They're 4 for their last 4 from the field. And just to see University so that the ACC network is going to get rolling with a full head of steam come August.
Isn't Clemson the first football game? Isn't that going to be on the network?
Yes, it is.
That's
I believe
exciting.
That's on a Thursday.
They'll be celebrating their national championship on the network.
Middle of August. Stay tuned for that.
You think those guys are having as much fun in there as we are out here?
Maybe. Not quite as much. And there's Xavier Johnson. You said it's going to be his time. We're not quite in crunch time yet, but Xavier Johnson has the opportunity to take this one over. He's got his first triple of the night, and he's in double digits with 10. And it's stolen away by Johnson.
3-on-1.
To his fellow freshman, McGowan's. And that's Trey McGowan's first field goal tonight. He has 3, and Pitt's back on top by a deuce.
With the basketball at any time off the bounce.
Well, Pitt's got a terrific basketball tradition going back to their days in the Big East, of course. Xavier Johnson is now 57 points shy of setting the all-time freshman scoring record held current.
Program around. He dominates the ball. He's great ball pressure at the top of your defense. I think they're going to struggle guarding him. Now Childress is on the floor, off the floor. Looks like he's getting his ankle looked at.
And that would be a huge loss for Danny Manning. Brandon Childress has 18 points to lead all scorers so far tonight. Brown around and out on that jumper.
Well, Childress averages 36 minutes a game. They don't play much basketball in the ACC without him on the floor.
Yeah, he's 3rd in the conference in minutes per game. 3 freshmen on the floor right now for Danny Manning. One of them, Horde, misses the jump.
So that means you tape it up and you lace it up and you get back out there.
That blood flow's still working. He didn't have that much time to sit on the bench. Get it 10-2 when it's triple zeros on the clock.
Right.
Xavier Johnson got caught a little too deep under his own basket. Here he is again. Look at that circus move.
So good. So good. And then a steal by McCowans. Sloppy play.
But Trey McGowans has really struggled offensively in his last half. 1 for 2 for McGowans. An 8-0 Pitt run has put them up 5 with 8.5 to go. On the road, looking for their first win on the road in ACC play since February of 2017. It's been 16 games since the Panthers have been able to celebrate in a visiting locker room. And there's a huge 3 by Sharon Wright, his first points of the game. And he was 2 for 16 from his last 2-point field goal attempts.
Well, Danny Manning spent a good amount of time today at shoot-around talking about Sharon Wright and the development, his measurables, how long he is, how quick he is. His upside is really good for Wake.
Look at City Endier taking a page from his teammate Xavier Johnson. Endier has 7, the lead back to 4. Wright again for 3.
2 possessions and Wake Forest is right back in it, a 1-point game.
McGowans, pretty pull-up. But Horde has the rebound off the miss. A chance to take the lead with a bucket for the Deacons. No whistle. Here's Wright, feeling it. Five on the shot clock for the Panthers. With 2 to shoot, Ellison had to force it up. Pitt gets it right back. And Xavier Johnson is begging for the ball. He gets it, finds Brown. Brown can't make the bunny. Here's Wynn. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons compared to the first half and the second half. We talk about sensational freshmen. How about Jalen Horde? He's got his 6th double-double of the season.
That's the right read by Johnson. A hard hedge, a hard roll to the basket, and Johnson keeps his eyes on the roller. Brown's got to finish that.
Well, Pitt is in a dogfight as they expected to be, trying to snap that 16-game road ACC losing streak that extends all the way back to February of 2017. They find themselves down by 3. Offensive rebound, Horde, count it.
Sarr kept it alive. Horde finishes it.
15 points, 13 boards for Jalen Horde.
Great trap.
Here's Wright at the other end. And somehow the ball, call it here, the director of athletic performance. He was like the get back.
Comes to the kinesiology of athletic performance here at Wake Forest.
That's an SAT word.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
Thank you, Rich. But he's passionate about what he does in helping these young men at Wake Forest become the best they can become.
That ball was blocked by Horde. Loose ball, McGowans.
Supposed to speculate, but I'm thinking that was the
last few minutes. The largest of the game. And there's just 4:49 to go. Why is this Wake Forest offense woken up so well?
Sharon Wright woke up and made 3 straight plays in a row. I'd go right back to him. He's got the hot hand. Here he is over here on the near wing, number 2 in white with the ball.
Gives it up to fellow freshman Musius. There's 3 to shoot. Wright lost it.
That's a good teaching opportunity for Coach Manning.
Well, we talked about it 5 minutes ago, Deb. Now it really is crunch time for the Panthers. We'll see what Xavier Johnson has in his pocket. City Endier. A little one-on-one move by Endier.
Thought he got away with a travel.
Instead, he's got 9 points, and he cuts the Wake Forest lead to 5.
Well, you don't want to throw that kind of pass right now against an overplaying aggressive defense. Got to be short passes on angles, and you got to meet the pass.
Musius, head and shoulder fake, comes up empty. Now here's Johnson. Too easy for Xavier Johnson.
So good.
14. Lawrence Joel Coliseum in Wake Forest, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak.
Sharon Wright, 0 for 1 in the first half, no points. Second half, 4 for 5, 11 second half points.
Good hands by Johnson. Now there's 10 on the shot clock for the Demon Deacons. They go inside. Sarr, 2 to shoot. It's picked off. Good look from Frame to Endier for the flush.
Too slow developing for Wake Forest in that offensive set.
It's been a game of runs in the second half, and now Pitt Panthers respond to a 15-2 Wake run with a 7-0 run of their own. Short on the 3. Sarr, the offensive board. Can't get the putback, but Jalen Horde does. And he adds to his double-double numbers. 17 points, 14 boards now for the freshman. Boy, a lot of players have played well tonight, Debbie, but Jalen Horde and Xavier Johnson have not disappointed.
Yeah.
Junior college is really turning to play.
But the smaller lineup for Jeff Capel allows him to have more versatility offensively, and it gives them a chance to put more pressure on the basketball defensively.
Chukwuka 1 for 2 from the free throw stripe, so it's an 8-0 Pitt run. Make it 8-2 because of the Horde putback the last time down.
You got to get going here.
Sarr faces up and knocks it down.
Much better decision with the basketball that time by Olivier Sarr.
The lead is 4 for the Demon Deacons. That's a clutch 3 in front of his own bench for City Endier.
That is a terrific snake behind the step-up screen and a terrific find, and then a defensive play by Johnson.
Johnson. One for 2 from the line for Johnson. He has 15, and we have our 6th tie of the game.
Both teams have 1 timeout remaining.
Jalen Horde, 10 in white, still on the floor for Danny Manning with 4 fouls.
Both teams are in the bonus. Pitt has the arrow.
They go inside. Sarr, again, not this time. Weak side rebound to Ellison. Pitt, a chance to regain the lead. Trying to snap that 16-game road losing streak in ACC play. It's going to come down to the wire, and it might come down. And from the most cap space to the most draft picks. So look at the NFL's off-season power brokers. That's coming up at 11 Eastern on SportsCenter. 17 now for Xavier Johnson. He put his team up by 2. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons only 4 for 7 for the Panthers. Here's Childress. Bad right ankle and all. Sharon Wright, a one-handed pass, and so there was no timeout called on the floor. That's even better news for Jeff Capel. As the officials reviewed that play, it basically operates as a free timeout for him.
You got a foul. You try to get a
in the game. And that's a big miss from the freshman Xavier Johnson.
Got to drive it.
A chance to tie or win it. Childress can't get it done. Loose ball, Brown. No! The ball rolls off the rim. 5 seconds to go. It's island up now.
Toughest place to inbound. A direct pass to the block if you can get it.
Dangerous pass. Brown for the win. No, but this Jalen Horn playing 5 extra minutes of free basketball here in Winston-Salem. Here's Xavier Johnson for the win. Saddled with 4 fouls as well as their big man, Olivier Sarr. But it's the Demon Deacons starting out with the first possession in the OT.
I think Wake Forest needs to be a little bit more tighter with the basketball, not so loose.
Here's an open look from Mucius. Offensive rebound, but it's pulled away by Ellison.
Boy, Ellison plays bigger than his size.
Look at Xavier Johnson changing speeds.
Ellison at 6'6" plays much taller than that. And again, Johnson off the bounce.
That's 20 points for Xavier Johnson. Good head and shoulders fake by Shondy Brown, and he's got a dozen.
See, that's a good play for him. That's a nice job of getting inside the heart of that defense by Brown.
For those of you tuning into ESPNU to find Florida and Auburn, that game will be taken in its entirety as soon as we're done here from Winston-Salem. You can find that game on the SEC alternate channel until this overtime is concluded. Here's Jared Wilson framed. 4 threes and now 5 threes for Jared Wilson frame. He has 17 tonight. None bigger than that one to give Pitt a 3-point lead.
Both teams in zone. We've seen a lot of zone from both clubs.
Brown turned it over.
Both these teams desperate for a win, both on 5-game losing streaks.
A wide open look. Here comes Jalen Horde. In the corner. Tie ball game.
Shondy Brown has been outstanding here in the last part of the second half and into overtime. 5 points in OT for Brown.
Tied again at 72. Great look inside, but it's blocked. And Wake Forest has a chance to go back on top in this seesaw battle from Winston-Salem. Sarr faces up, baseline, got it.
Beautiful, textbook. I think fatigue playing a little bit of a role here defensively for both teams, as the other team's offenses are getting very good.
Wilson frame had the mismatch, but he turned it over. And that's a steal from Jalen Horde, who's doing a little bit of everything tonight.
2 big defensive plays by Horde, the block and the steal.
Wake with a 2-point lead and the ball. Coming up on a minute and a half to go in overtime. 3 to shoot. Mucius, tough shot. The pull-up goes off the side of the back.
To get up the floor into their offense a little bit quicker.
Xavier Johnson guarded by fellow freshman Sharon Wright. City Endeers had a great second half, but he had his pocket picked. Saved by Ellison in midcourt.
I mean, look at the hustle by Jalen Horde. Rich, 6'8" guy on the floor.
High off the glass goes Xavier Johnson.
He can make every shot.
He had 30 last Tuesday night. He's got 22 tonight.
It's fast 5 minutes.
Brown. Wow!
Remaining. You can get a quick 2, but if the best shot's available is a 3, you take it quickly.
4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Wake in the zone.
Pitt down 3 in OT, trying to snap a 16-game road losing streak in the ACC.
Is a 52% free throw shooter.
Right tonight. One for 2. It's a 2-point game.
Well, you got a foul.
And Wilson Frame does free throw line. Huge spot for him. One for 2. Pitt needs a 3 to tie the game.
They're going to go for a 3 here. And Danny Manning actually,
who's been the best player so far tonight.
and so
Dozens and dozens of coaches, and it's nearly a 50-50 split as to what you do in that situation. But here's Childress. And he's going to dribble out the clock.